A very good morning to you as well. Yesterday's arguments were quite interesting, actually. The first thing that the judges asked after the ATM's counsel put its case to the full bench was, why are we hearing this matter? Because as far as the three judges are concerned, this matter was already dealt with by the Supreme Court of Appeal a few years ago, when the Supreme Court of Appeal in fact said that it is the Speaker's discretion. She or he can decide whether a ballot in the National Assembly can be an open or closed ballot, and that of course the circumstances prevailing at the time, that will determine the Speaker's decision. So what the arguments submitted by the ATM's counsel, they were describing the toxic environment at any given time within a party or within Parliament itself, saying that MPs should be allowed to feel safe to vote in whichever direction they vote, and they were suggesting that MPs don't always feel safe, and that what the end results could be of an MP voting against party lines. So they were basically referring to the safety of an MP. They used terms like threats to life. They said how toxic does a situation have to get within a political party before a speaker decides whether the vote should be closed or open. The judges were very clear. They weren't really sold on this argument, and their argument was that, but in terms of the Constitution, Parliament's interactions should be transparent and open, and that is what the public deserves. The public deserves to know what decisions their MPs are taking on their behalf. So they quoted the Constitution. They said that the Speaker should always act in terms of fairness, in terms of transparency, and in fact this is the argument that the Speaker's counsel also put to the judges, that she is bound by the Constitution and her mandate is always to first be open and transparent. So that was the main gist of the arguments yesterday, a toxic environment in Parliament or in a political party versus the issue of fairness and the right of the public to know exactly what decisions their MPs are making on their behalf.
And Abra, just how did the Speaker's legal counsel counter this argument?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
How did the Speaker's legal counsel respond to these arguments?
Oh, I just said the Speaker's counsel said that the Speaker, her duty is to abide by the Constitution, and the Constitution says that she has to act within she has to always consider fairness and transparency and openness. So that was that. I mean, the Speaker's counsel didn't take very long. His submissions were quite short compared to that of the ATM. And his basis was that of openness and transparency. And this is what the judges are essentially leaning toward. In fact, the one Justice Tulare, he quoted a song, and he said the song goes along the lines of cowards need to step aside and the brave need to step up. And this is the analogy that he was using, that MPs can't be cowards, that MPs should be brave enough to stand up and make their vote. Their vote should be open. Their electorate should know exactly what they are voting for. And he said this is what South Africa is built on. He said this is our nation's history, that we are a nation made up of brave and not cowards. So, I mean, just based on what we heard yesterday, I mean, I'm speculating now, but based on what we heard yesterday, it looks like the judges are already leaning a certain way because they put a lot of questions to the ATM's counsel about exactly how an MP's right to a secret ballot, how that would impact on the principle of transparency, which is what the Constitution calls for.
Yeah, that's a long-standing struggle song. Even as our viewers are watching, I'm sure they're starting to make some motions to it. Abra, when can we expect some sort of outcome today?
Look, at this stage, we suspect that judgment is going to be reserved. From what we heard yesterday, it looks like it's only the ANC who's one of the respondents in the matter. It looks like it's only the ANC's counsel who will be making submissions today. And from what the ANC's counsel said yesterday, I mean, in fact, he wanted to finish yesterday already. He told the bench that it would take him 10 minutes, but the judges decided to continue today. So we're expecting to sit until around 1 o'clock, midday this afternoon, and we expect that judgment in the matter will be reserved until, of course, the courts let us know what the outcome is.